I have been avoiding talking about the Philadelphia Eagles situation like I avoid talking to my baby mom or like I avoid answering the phone calls from that extended warranty company. We're calling to talk to you about your car's extended warranty. This episode of Run It Back Philly is brought to you by the Teespring Store. Click the link in the description. Get all the Run It Back merch, including the Depressed Philly Sports Fan t-shirt in Kelly Green, because what better way to show that you're an Eagles fan, but you currently hate being one? Also, buymeacoffee.com/runitback. I give you sports talk every single day. If you would like to show your appreciation for this sports talk every single day, go ahead and buy me a coffee. Buymeacoffee.com/runitback. We are at 20 supporters. So what that means is the next person to buy me coffee on buymeacoffee.com/runitback gets to choose the random location of where I record the podcast. So the 21st supporter on there will get to choose a random location, and I will record a podcast from that location. I'm not kidding you. Name anywhere, I'll do it. Hit the subscribe button if you're brand new. Hit the like button if you like the truth. Hit the dislike button if you're a fraud. Let's get into this. Jeffrey Lurie and Doug Pederson have a meeting today to discuss, I guess, the future of the Eagles situation. And it's more so for Jeffrey Lurie to decide if he believes that Doug Pederson can turn this around and fix it. The reports coming out are starting to really look like he doesn't believe that, and he's ready to move on from Doug Pederson and the entire situation. A report came out yesterday that Doug Pederson presented him with Press Taylor as the offensive coordinator. That's going to fix everything. That's what Doug Pederson presented to Jeffrey Lurie, and Jeffrey Lurie was not impressed. And now they're having a second meeting today where Jeffrey Lurie would like for Doug Pederson to deliver him a plan to fix this situation. And if he's not happy with that plan, we all think he's going to move on from Doug Pederson. Me personally, I think it's time. I think it's time to move on from Doug Pederson. I think it's time to move on for this entire coaching staff, and there's a lot of reasons for that, and we're going to get into it. First of all, part of me kind of thinks that Doug Pederson wants to be fired. Like that part of me actually believes that, because I think Doug Pederson is on such a high horse. I'm the Super Bowl winning head coach. There's a statue of me outside of the stadium. I can get any head coaching job I want in this entire league. I don't have to deal with this crap. I think that's what Doug Pederson is thinking and is feeling like. I think he has a level of stubbornness and arrogance that is going to bring him down, and he doesn't even realize that yet. The way he handled the team this year, his play calling, his decision making was atrocious. It was abysmal. It was an abominable display of selfish acts and just insane level of stubbornness and arrogance. And it's showing in more than just his play calling and his decision making. It's showing to me in him as a person and how he feels about himself as a head coach, constantly blaming everyone else to the point where he actually semi-blamed Carson Wentz in press conferences during the season, and then benched Carson Wentz for Jalen Hurts to try to save his own ass once again, to try to prove to the world this is all the quarterback's fault. This is all Carson Wentz's fault. Watch, I'm going to take this second-round quarterback and we're going to turn the season around right here with the quarterback change. Now, I didn't disagree with that entirely because I think it was time. I think Carson Wentz was out there in a lost season, getting hit 8,000 times a game, was only trending downward. I thought it was time for a quarterback change, at least at that point in the season, because what was the point of continuing with what was happening? And I also liked it and was all for it because I knew that it would show that there's more issues than just the quarterback. I said, all right, let's put Jalen Hurts in there, and y'all will see that it's the offensive line issues, that it's the quarterback coaching issue, it's the head coaching issue, it's the game plan issue, it's the gameplay designers issue. It's all kinds of issues, not just the quarterback. So I was all for the quarterback change, and as you saw, as was expected, Jalen Hurts looked good in the beginning, but eventually the issues that lie and that live and that fester in this Philadelphia Eagles organization currently brought him down in about 3 games, the same way they brought Carson Wentz down over the course of a season. So that's what it is. But Doug Pederson made that change to try to save his own ass and to try to prove to everyone that Carson Wentz was the issue. And that's where I have a problem with the head coach, because the most important thing here with this franchise moving forward with the Carson Wentz situation is the relationship of Carson Wentz and the coaching staff. 2 major factors in a quarterback being successful is confidence and trust, right? You lose confidence when you get hit 8,000 times a game for a whole season, first of all. You lose confidence when you only have 2 seconds to drop back to make a decision in the pocket the entire season. You lose confidence when you get sacked 40 times in 11 games. You lose confidence when your head coach refuses to call plays designed to get you out of the pocket and refuses to call plays that include quicker pass patterns and quicker decisions that are available for you the entire season. You lose confidence when the coach continues to call long developing routes and drop you deep in the pocket when he knows that you don't have 5 seconds to throw the ball, you have 1.7. You lose confidence when you drag a team to the playoffs one season, and that very offseason, the one thing you need is a stud wide receiver, and your general manager not only refuses to make a move to get that stud wide receiver, but stabs you directly in the back and drafts another quarterback in the 2nd round because he couldn't pass up on that kind of talent. And he is building a quarterback factory. You lose confidence when your organization shows you they don't have your back and they do things like create a quarterback factory instead of maybe getting pieces to support your franchise quarterback and help make him and the entire team better, to draft another quarterback and say something as stupid as we're making a quarterback factory. You lose confidence when all of these things happen. I know Carson Wentz reads social media. I know Carson Wentz reads Twitter, or at least his agent reads Twitter, or his friends read Twitter, or his wife reads Twitter. They tell him what's going on. They told Carson Wentz DeAndre Hopkins was available for trade. They told Carson Wentz Howie Roseman made no move to get him, and he was eventually traded for a 2nd and a 4th round pick. Carson Wentz knows that. They told Carson Wentz Stephon Diggs was available for trade. They told Carson Wentz Howie Roseman made no effort to get him. They told Carson Wentz that Robbie Anderson was available in free agency. They told Carson Wentz that the Eagles could possibly trade up for CeeDee Lamb in the 1st round of the NFL draft, and Howie Roseman made no effort to do that, but instead used that 2nd round pick to draft another quarterback. Carson Wentz isn't in the dark here. He knows exactly what's going on. He's not going to say it publicly, but all the frustration that we share as fans for what has happened in these past 2 seasons, trust us when we say Carson Wentz shares those same frustrations. And when that relationship is as fractured as it is, the owner of the team has to choose between the quarterback that he paid $150 million to and this coaching staff, because the coaching staff has lost Carson Wentz. The rumors came out that he may want to trade. All of those rumors came out for a reason. Carson Wentz is done with this coaching staff. He's felt like he's been backstabbed. He's felt like they do not have his back. They did not support him. They did not try to help him fix his issues. They did not try to help him get better. They did not try to put players on the team that could help him and the team succeed. And then Doug Pederson publicly criticizes him, and then Doug Pederson publicly benches him for the 2nd round quarterback who he thinks is going to save the season and didn't save the season. Carson Wentz is done with this coaching staff. Carson Wentz knows at 28 years old, there are plenty of teams right now who would put a lot of stock into him and who would do everything they possibly can to get him to succeed. Let's name a couple of those teams, for instance. The Indianapolis Colts. Frank Reich was a QB guru in San Diego and was hired by Philadelphia as the offensive coordinator and had wild success in taking Carson Wentz from what he was in 2016 to what he looked like in 2017. That was 100% Frank Reich. The creativity of the offense was 100% Frank Reich. The success of the wide receivers. You had Mac Hollins out here catching touchdowns. Nelson Aguilar had the best season of his career until this most recent season where he played not under Doug Pederson and these lackluster coaches that are currently in the Philadelphia Eagles organization. If Carson Wentz was traded to the Colts under Frank Reich, who just lost in the playoffs mainly because his quarterback was pretty inaccurate towards the end of the game in crunch time. There was decisions that he made that looked a little bit like Doug Pederson, like choosing not to kick field goal in certain situations and not being able to put points on the board 3 different times in the red zone. I understand that, but Carson Wentz would succeed under Frank Reich with that Colts team and the talent on that team from day one. The New England Patriots. Bill Belichick probably thinks, I can fix Carson Wentz. I can mold Carson Wentz. I can put Carson Wentz in my system and get him quick passing patterns, get him quick reaction type of plays like we did with Tom Brady for how many years? And I can build a strong offensive line like we did with Tom Brady for how many years? The Patriots would be interested in Carson Wentz. How about the Steelers? How about the Pittsburgh Steelers, who had the #1 defense in the NFL for pretty much this entire season, started the season 11-0, have a world of talent when it comes to James Conner and Chase Claypool and all of the other talent they have on that team? It seemed like, watching yesterday, the only thing missing in Pittsburgh is a quarterback because Ben Roethlisberger might just be too old to get it done anymore. Pittsburgh Steelers would be interested in Carson Wentz and would put a lot of stock into Carson Wentz. So Jeffrey Lurie has to make a decision. Do you trust this coaching staff and this head coach who just trended downward for 3 years and ruined, I don't know if he's personally responsible for it, but let's just look at all the signs. The team trended downward for 3 years. Your franchise quarterback, who was an MVP candidate in 2017, trended down for 3 years. Got benched. Do you trust this coaching staff to move forward with Jalen Hurts as the quarterback? Or do you believe in Carson Wentz, and do you believe that you can get Carson Wentz back to that MVP type of form with a different coaching staff? That's what we're going to find out. Hopefully we find out today, because don't make us wait a whole 3 or 4 days again, man. Don't do that to us. What the Eagles really need is offensive line help. Let's talk about how Carson Wentz can get back to where he was. Number one is the offensive line. That's all there is to it. If you watch the NFL playoffs right now, quarterbacks are succeeding because they have time to throw the damn ball. Now, do the Eagles draft a offensive lineman at number 6? I don't know. But something has to happen. Jason Kelsey's getting older. Brandon Brooks. Jordan Mailata looks promising for a young guy, but there's not a whole lot of young guys coming up that look promising as far as offensive linemen go, and we could very, very much use a 22-year-old absolute stud offensive lineman, right? That's number one. The Eagles also need a quarterback guru. Like I said, Frank Reich was a quarterback guru, came into the offensive coordinator role. Turns out he was way too good for that, actually, and got a head coaching job in no time. It didn't last very long, right? You need a quarterback guru, somebody that has shown that they can take a quarterback from his basic skill set and amplify those skills and maximize his potential, right? You need a guy that knows what he's doing. This past season, with Doug Pederson choosing not to have an offensive coordinator was pathetic and embarrassing. Let's not forget that Doug Pederson was the offensive coordinator in Kansas City, and they had an entire regular season, where wide receivers didn't catch a touchdown pass. Right? Now he chooses to not have an offensive coordinator here after Mike Groh was a terrible choice by Doug Pederson. He fires his own choice and chooses not to have one. I guess I keep choosing bad offensive coordinators, so I'll just do it myself, even though I was a bad offensive coordinator myself. And your quarterback trends downward and downward and downward and keeps going. Doug Pederson is not a wide receiver guru. He's not a quarterback guru. I don't actually know what Doug Pederson does that's good, actually. So you need an offensive coordinator that has shown, that's experienced, that has shown that he can fix a quarterback or that he can elevate a quarterback and maximize their potential, right? Just one name I came up with reading in different articles and reading the internet and Twitter is Ken Dorsey, the Buffalo Bills. Look what he did with Josh Allen in 1 year. 1 year, he took Josh Allen from, I don't know, to, oh my God, this dude is a stud. Right? Where was Ken Dorsey? He was, where was he before Buffalo? Either way, he got hired as Buffalo's quarterback coach, and look at Josh Allen. Now, could you offer Ken Dorsey an offensive coordinator job with the Philadelphia Eagles? You know, that's that one step up. That's the same thing we did with Frank Reich, quarterback coach to offensive coordinator. Now he's a head coach. Do you offer Ken Dorsey the offensive coordinator job in Philadelphia? Or do you just fire Doug Pederson outright and offer someone like Ken Dorsey a head coaching job? Could you go from quarterback coach to head coach? I don't know. That might be a little bit extreme. But maybe you hire him as offensive coordinator, you give Doug another shot, and then Ken Dorsey does so well, brings Carson Wentz back to MVP form like Frank Reich did. But this time, you make the right decision, and you fire Doug Pederson, and you promote that offensive coordinator to head coach. Because we didn't know it at the time, and I'm not going to act like I knew it at the time. We didn't know that Frank Reich was the reason they won that Super Bowl. I knew he was good. I knew his offense was creative and intelligent and ahead of the game. But we didn't know. We gave all the praise to Doug Pederson, right? Even though Doug Pederson was hired with no offensive coordinator positives, no head coach experience, didn't really show any signs that he could be a great head coach, we hired him in a panic move after the Chip Kelly debacle. He just got lucky when Frank Reich was hired as the offensive coordinator, and Frank Reich ends up being the better offensive mind and probably the better head coach. So in hindsight, we should have fired Doug and promoted Frank Reich, right? Or in hindsight, we should have fired Chip Kelly and brought Frank Reich from quarterback coach in San Diego to head coach in Philadelphia, right? Can you skip that whole step? Is that a panic move? The Eagles need an offensive coordinator, or they need to just fire Doug Pederson. Yeah, that's all I have to say. You got to choose between Carson Wentz and Doug Pederson. That's what Jeffrey Lurie has to choose right now. He has to choose it today. It is what it is. You guys give me all your thoughts and opinions in the comments. My name is DJ Eastwood. This is Run It Back. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please give me a rating and a review. We are at 93 ratings on Apple Podcasts. I would love to get that to 100 ratings. If you have an iPhone and you have Apple Podcasts, even if you don't listen to podcasts, please just download the app just to leave a review. Love you guys. Have a great day. Peace.